Hey there, guys. Alright, today we are watching another History Matters video, and this time on The Great Purge, short animated documentary, when Stalin went and killed everybody. Or, well, people that told him no. And maybe even people that were just like, no, maybe we calm down. Now, I don't really know much about Great Purge. I know in Hearts of Iron 4 that the Great Purge ends up killing your best field marshal, Mikhail Rokossovsky, some Russian last name. And that's a bummer because he's a great starting to feel like just got good stats. Then he's got to die. So, anyways, with all that said, let's dive in.
1934, and a man called Sergei Kirov is having a great day. Just
Nuts.
kidding, he was shot and
Nope.
died.
Okay, that's not a good day.
His assassin was a man called Leonid Nikolaev, a member of the Communist Party who may have been acting alone. He also may have been put up to it by a certain someone, which
Totally not. No, Stalin would never.
may explain why there was nobody guarding Kirov. Nobody really knows for certain though. Kirov was the chief of the Leningrad Communist Party and was pretty influential, and the murder of such a high-ranking official was unprecedented.
Oh, so sad.
And the head honcho Stalin wasn't going to let such a murder go to waste. Stalin took charge of the investigation personally, and after having Nikolaev shot, he determined that the murder was a part of a much larger Communist Party conspiracy against him and the Soviet Union. This meant only one thing. It was time for a purge. A great purge, if you will.
Yippee.
Stalin accused his old rivals, Grigory Zinoviev and Lev Kamenev, of being a part of a conspiracy against him which was being led abroad by none other than Trotsky. Zinoviev and Kamenev were both arrested by the head of the NKVD, Genrikh Yagoda. They were put on trial in August 1936, found guilty
Stalin is judge, jury, and executioner, baby.
and shot. Interestingly enough, both Zinoviev and Kamenev, despite being innocent, admitted to being part of a conspiracy. There are two probable reasons that they confessed to crimes that they didn't commit. One being that they knew they were going to die anyway, and so they decided to preserve the party's image. The other being, torture. Stalin had Yagoda demoted and
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably torture. I don't know. I'm not someone that could ever really buy into the idea of people, like, I don't know, like, if you know you're going to die, the Soviet leadership and those in power of the Soviet Union, especially in the 30s, never really give me the vibe that they care too much for party unity to such a degree that they would care for it even in like the party unity after their, like, if the head of the party is like, they know they are going to be killed by the head of the party no matter what they say, I don't see why they would actually strive to maintain the image of the party and confess like that for those reasons, right? Like, I could see them maybe confessing in those regards if they had actually, been planning it, but I don't see them confessing if it was a lie. Torture, I can see them confessing to, because they could probably believe by, oh, if I confess, the torture will stop, and then I can just be given a quick death, and the pain will be over. That one I could really believe. Or maybe they confess because they believe the torture would stop and they would be able to be released. Though I would say high up officials in the Stalin government would know Stalin well enough to know that if they confess, they're just going to die anyway. So I think it's more so that middle reason there that I was saying, the one where it's like the torture will stop and they'll just be killed quickly. And that's why they confess, so the pain was over. Anyways,
replaced with Nikolai Yezhov, who was always up for a bit of purging. Over the next year, two more major trials were held, which saw more high-ranking officials found guilty of treason, the most famous being Mikhail Tukhachevsky.
There's the Hearts of Iron 4 general.
Great Purge, also known as the Great Terror, spread further across the USSR. Factory managers, military officers, as well as many mid-ranking bureaucrats and party members were also purged in the years following the trials. Purged doesn't necessarily mean shot. Some were taken to the gulags instead, which was much better. Stalin and the
Lovely.
higher-ups in the Communist Party ordered communist officials across the USSR to root out traitors and any Trotskyites amongst them. Unsurprisingly, this led to a culture of suspicion developing, which in turn
No
led to
way.
people accusing each other of harbouring sympathies for Trotsky. Between 1937 and 1938, over 100,000 Communist Party members were purged and over
That's a lot of people, man. What the? What?
half of the military high command was shot. Your normal, everyday Soviet
Jesus.
citizens weren't spared the horrors of the Great Purge.
course
Across
not.
2 years, over 650,000 people were shot and
I didn't know the numbers were that high, dude. I didn't know the numbers were that high. Holy crap.
a further million were sent to the gulags.
Oh.
The reason why so many were found guilty, despite the overwhelming majority not being hardline Trotskyites, was that the NKVD, the secret police, had quotas to fulfill.
Fucking quotas.
Some of those rounded up were targeted simply for complaining or disagreeing with party policy. Beyond simply targeting political dissidents, Stalin focused the NKVD on different ethnicities. They were specifically ordered to target Germans because Hitler as well as Ukrainians. When the USSR's borders expanded in 1939, the peoples in those new territories were also fiercely repressed, with a great emphasis on the Polish. The sheer number of arrests and executions began to take their toll on the Soviet economy, and Stalin decided that enough was enough and that the internal enemies had been defeated. He denounced those who had made false accusations, and in 1939 he threw Yezhov under the proverbial bus and had him arrested, and the next year he was shot. After this, the number of accusations and arrests declined massively, but that didn't mean that anyone felt safe, and that was how Stalin wanted it. The legacy of the Purge was that it cemented Stalin's position as the sole totalitarian leader of the USSR. The Purges removed any potential, mostly imagined rivals, but in doing so they weakened the USSR and made resisting Hitler's invasion of 1941 that much harder. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
And that was The Great Purge, a short animated documentary by History Matters. This was a good video, but this is obviously very clearly one of their earlier videos, and so I don't think it's not one of their stronger videos. It's still good, still very good, but tell with the pacing was, I think, a little off. It was a little bit too fast at points. And I think maybe a little bit more context, like a little bit more varied context of what was happening would have been nice. But this is them finding their thing. This is them figuring out their writing and whatnot. They're still finding their, I guess, identity as history content creators here. Still a great video. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Lots of haha chuckle moments. So I hope you guys enjoyed as well as I did. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the video. Peace.